It's hard to say when exactly it happened. Perhaps it was during the French Revolution or the Renaissance. It seems that somewhere along our collective timeline, humanity decided that there were limits to what one person could know. We started assigning labels to people with special abilities, calling them polymaths, Renaissance men or women, Jacks and Jills of all trades. But ever since we started compartmentalizing knowledge, we've always been looking for someone who could overcome these limitations. Someone who could show us that different areas of knowledge aren't mutually exclusive, that they complement each other and can overlap infinitely. And what we found was him, the original Renaissance man, the ultimate polymath, Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo was born out of wedlock in 1452. His father was Piero, a middle-class Florentine lawyer who enjoyed a carefree life, and his mother was Caterina, a peasant woman who had little more than her beauty and charm to offer. Unlike most children of his social standing, Leonardo didn't receive much formal schooling. Instead, his father hired tutors to teach him practical subjects like reading, writing, and mathematics. Most historians agree that at least some of Leonardo's early artwork dates back to this period, suggesting that his natural talent was evident from an early age. At 15, he was apprenticed to the famous Florentine painter Andrea del Verrocchio. There he developed his skills and talents and established himself as a painter, sculptor, and inventor. Later in life, he would claim that his teachers had been the firm's horses. All in all, Leonardo painted very few works during his lifetime. In fact, no one knows how many paintings he completed because so many of them are lost. Not only did he destroy a lot of his own work, but much of his surviving work is attributed to assistants in his workshop, meaning that most of his pieces are unconfirmed. However, he did leave us with several finished pieces that changed the world of art forever. This includes some of the most famous paintings in history, such as The Last Supper and the Mona Lisa. In addition to painting, Leonardo was also a writer, although he wrote very little. What he did write consisted mainly of personal notes and scientific observations. He was also a military engineer, architect, botanist, geologist, mathematician, cartographer, inventor, anatomist, and above all, an artist. As he once wrote, "The eye that observes, the hand that draws, the mind that imagines." Through his art, Leonardo explored a variety of subjects, including humanism, emotion, personality, individual psychology, as well as optical illusions, which led him to become the first true scientist. Leonardo da Vinci's scientific career began with art. For example, his notebook entries on optics include studies of light, color, and painting techniques. He approached the subject from a variety of angles, drawing conclusions based on experiments he conducted himself. Like the ancient Greeks, Leonardo believed that light came from an invisible substance called luminiferous ether, which was emitted by luminous bodies. He also thought that white light consisted of individual rays that reflected differently off objects. These ideas were centuries ahead of their time. In fact, they wouldn't be accepted until Isaac Newton published his work on optics. Leonardo was a keen observer of nature, and he believed that studying the natural world was essential to understanding it. This led him to conduct dissections and explore human anatomy, which allowed him to make detailed drawings of muscles, tendons, and organs. His notebooks contain over 13,000 anatomical drawings and descriptions, including some of the earliest illustrations of the fetus and the circulatory system. His insights into human anatomy profoundly impacted the field of medicine. Interestingly, his observations led him to conclude that there's no such thing as empty space, instead proposing that space is actually filled with particles, something similar to the modern concept of quantum foam. In addition to his studies of anatomy, Leonardo da Vinci was also interested in hydraulics, geology, and other sciences. For example, he designed various hydraulic machines, including pumps and mills, and he also studied the properties of water. Leonardo da Vinci's approach to science was highly interdisciplinary, and he believed that the various branches of knowledge should be integrated rather than compartmentalized. This approach was highly unusual for his time and helped pave the way for modern scientific thinking. It was common practice in Leonardo's day for artists to copy the work of others. After all, it was seen as the best way to learn the trade. So when he started sharing some of his inventions, scholars and scientists simply copied his sketches and submitted them as their own work. As a result, most of Leonardo's inventions never saw the light of day. Even today, only a handful of his mechanical designs have been built. In fact, one of his flying machines was built as recently as 2006. According to experts, it was able to stay airborne for around 12 seconds. That's still not enough time to get any real use out of it though. But Leonardo wasn't discouraged. He kept drawing and sketching and designing, hoping that one day his ideas would be put to use. And as it turns out, he was right. His notebooks contain thousands of pages of scientific observations, technical drawings, engineering plans, as well as philosophical and literary pieces. They cover everything from flying machines and submarines to bridges, robotics, and more. When he was asked why he made so many drawings, Leonardo replied, "I do not know what I may appear to the world, but all my life long, I've been pursuing one thing only with the intensity of a burning fire, my thirst for knowledge." Looking through his notebooks, it's clear that Leonardo was truly passionate about learning. He loved asking questions and searching for answers, no matter how obscure or difficult they were. And he was always eager to share what he learned with others. Some of his most famous inventions include tanks, robots, helicopters, submarines, armored cars, and even self-destruct helmets. But he was also interested in less practical matters, like the origin of life and the possibility of immortality. Unfortunately, most of his notebooks were lost after his death. Many of them ended up in the hands of unscrupulous dealers who sold them to private collectors. Today, Leonardo da Vinci is best known as a painter, but he was also an accomplished engineer and inventor. In his lifetime, he was regarded as a military engineer, and his designs were often commissioned by powerful figures, including the rulers of Florence, Milan, Rome, Venice, and France. Today, many of his notebooks are held in museums and libraries around the world, where they are open to the public for research and viewing. Visitors can see his beautiful handwriting and detailed drawings and diagrams and get a glimpse into the mind of one of history's greatest thinkers. In his time, Leonardo da Vinci was considered a genius. His ability to come up with creative solutions to complex problems was unparalleled. He was a true Renaissance man, someone who excelled in many areas of study and whose work continues to inspire awe and wonder today. Some believe that Leonardo da Vinci was ahead of his time and that his genius was not fully appreciated during his lifetime. However, over the years, he has gained recognition as one of the greatest painters and thinkers of all time. His work has inspired countless others, and his legacy continues to live on. Like Nikola Tesla, another misunderstood genius, Leonardo struggled throughout his entire life to make ends meet. Despite his many talents and contributions to society, he died believing that he was nothing more than a painter. But the truth is that Leonardo da Vinci was more than just a painter. He was a scientist, an inventor, an engineer, an architect, a sculptor, and a musician. He was a true Renaissance man whose contributions to science, art, and culture continue to inspire awe and wonder today. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said, "The man who is really master of himself can do without all the learning in the world, for he will acquire all knowledge by observation and reflection." And that's exactly what Leonardo did. He observed the world around him and asked questions about how things worked. And then he reflected on his observations and came up with innovative solutions. That's why he's considered the father of modern science and engineering. In conclusion, Leonardo da Vinci was a true polymath, someone whose interests and expertise spanned multiple disciplines. He was a painter, scientist, inventor, engineer, architect, sculptor, musician, and much more. He was someone who believed that knowledge was not confined to a single discipline, but that it was interconnected and should be integrated. Leonardo da Vinci was a man who truly embodied the spirit of the Renaissance. He was curious, inquisitive, and always eager to learn and share his knowledge with others. His contributions to science, art, and culture continue to inspire awe and wonder today. Now watch who was Nikola Tesla and why is he genius? Or check out who was Aristotle and why is he genius? If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like the video and write your opinion in the comments.